How's it going, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle. We are back at the Aurora Bridge. It's been 9 months since we were last down here. We were doing some diving with one of the ROVs, and now we're going to be down here in the area. So we're trying to recover a lost ring. We have a white 14 karat gold lost ring that was accidentally dropped off the side of a boat. And we're gonna go down here and look at it. Now, Jeff was down here not too long ago. Didn't have any luck. A lot of cable and big heavy steel objects in the water that make it really difficult for the metal detector, because basically those bigger steel objects are gonna really throw off the detectors, because obviously the signal is gonna bounce off those before it's gonna bounce off a little gold ring. So we're gonna try a few different detectors, you know, with lower sensitivities, and hopefully we're gonna get lucky. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just remove everything I can out of that water. All the trash. I'm sure there's gonna be pop cans, bottle caps, beer bottles, fishing hooks. I'm gonna try to just eliminate as many targets as I can. I'm probably just gonna do one tank. I think the depth was gonna be about 16 feet, and there's gonna be about 6 inches of silt. Now, does it turn hard after that 6 inches of silt? I'm not sure. So, and I can already tell you the water's gonna be really green, and it's probably we're gonna have basically blackout conditions as soon as I start moving the dirt around. So hopefully we'll get lucky. So if not, this will be an interesting dive, an interesting video for you all to see. So we'll see you out there. So we're just about to get in the water. I'm gonna gear up, don everything. So this is kind of what I had in mind. So I got these washers that are just closely to the same size as my wedding ring, and I tied the string on there to kind of make it more buoyant. So testing this at home, I put it in a bucket of water and the string floated. So my theory is that if the person drops these in the water, and I have about 8 of them, to kind of simulate how they lost their ring in the water, and I should find a good area where I can start searching the little circumference of that search area. So hopefully we can find his ring by that method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a Garrett pinpointer, and even though they're waterproof, I don't really trust it. So I still sealed it up in a plastic bag, so I don't have to buy another one just in case it does get flooded. So we'll see you down there. So before I actually start detecting with a metal detector, I just wanted to kind of do a quick little look. So I'm just kind of going over the surface and just looking, and I got a flashlight, and if I do happen to see the glint of the gold ring, then I can just grab it. But I can tell you that there's a nice layer of sediment where anything as heavy as a gold ring is going to just sink right in that sediment. One thing that comes to mind is that this location would be a great place to do a cleanup dive. Remember, I had 8 of these washers that were about the same weight as the ring. Now I had the person drop 8 of them in, and here's 2 of them right here. As we continue checking out this debris pile, we see a third one right there, sitting right on the log. And And as we just go a little bit over this entanglement right here of all this rope and cord, we see one that actually kind of just slipped through, and you'll see it right about there. And that's a 4th washer on a string. So now that tells me that we have about 4 out of 8 of these washers that ended up right here on this debris pile. This leads me to believe that his ring is somewhere in this mess. This debris pile consists of logs, metal cables, rope, trash, and it's got a layer of sediment that goes down about 6 inches until we get to a hard gravel bottom. And there's a lot of freshwater clams here. Throughout my dive, I ended up just picking up the smaller trash, and I ended up filling up a large green goodie bag for the trash that we later deposited in the dumpster. So this is my pinpointer that is used on land, and they make them waterproof to a certain foot, but I decided to just wrap it up in a plastic bag to help ensure that it's not going to get flooded. And now what I'm doing is just pinpointing around the logs, pulling out any metallic trash, eliminating targets in hopes of coming across the ring in case it ended up in this little area. So you could see how the slightest movement disturbs the silt on the bottom and how it just starts turning into a blackout condition. I keep checking underneath these logs because something tells me that his ring would just easily fall down between these logs, getting lost. A lot of these spaces between these cables that are wrapped on these logs, and the ring could have easily fell between one of these spaces, ending up underneath them. And as you could already see, I've taken my right glove off because what I ended up doing is reaching my hand down and just searching by feel in the sediment, seeing if I can actually feel a ring. A lot of the times it was just rock, freshwater clams, and some other bits of garbage. I'm literally searching by feel now underneath all this debris, just trying to find something that would resemble a ring. wish I had the ability to cut these cables and remove them just so I can thoroughly search inside this area. I just have a feeling that his ring is going to be somewhere in this mess. So my total dive time was about 2 hours, so the GoPro battery is about to die, but I do capture one interesting find. And what I ended up doing is I ended up giving this to the person who lost their ring. But check this out, I'm about to uncover something really interesting. This is an old bottle, and it's got a design embossed on it and 2 spots for a label. Something Detroit on the side of it, and Owens, Illinois marking on the bottom of it. It's got a the Prohibition era writing on it as well. So I ended up giving this to the person who's lost his ring. It's a really cool vintage bottle. So that was the end of today's dive. I was probably underwater for probably about close to 2 hours. What I ended up doing is I took my pinpointer and I put her in a plastic bag, because even though they're waterproof, I still don't trust it. You know, I don't want it to flood and have to buy a new one. And I went around and searching for the ring. There was a lot of cables and tires and logs, and so I literally at one point I just took my glove off and I'm feeling to try to find this guy's ring, and I'm finding every kind of garbage except for the ring. And we ended up filling up a big green goodie bag full of garbage to help clean up the area down there. There's a lot of garbage down there. We didn't find the ring. So I guess we are beat on this one, and we were not successful, and you can't win them all. But at least we could come out and try to help a guy out. So my apologies, everybody. My GoPro died while I was doing the wrap up. So like I was saying, he is offering a reward if somebody can find his ring. He doesn't want to pay everybody that comes out to dive, because that would run him too much money, and it makes sense. So if you feel that you could have a good shot at finding his ring, get in touch with me. I'll put you in touch with him, and hopefully you guys will be able to find his ring. You probably won't even need a metal detector. You probably just, you know, use your hand to feel. I ended up taking off my glove so I can actually feel what I was trying to grab onto, and there's a lot of freshwater clam shells down there, and clams and little rocks and a bunch of other little broken stuff, trash, you know. So I mean, hopefully somebody can give the guy a hand and hopefully find his ring, and he's got a reward for you if you can. So that has been another episode of Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for your support. You know, go ahead and ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer people's questions, and if I can do it, you guys can do it too. And we'll see you on the next episode.